The first of 5 games being played by the Canadian men's national team ends in a 3-0 victory over Romania. Anything in particular right out of the gate that stood out to you with this performance, Wheels?
That was great. That was really, really enjoyable and an outstanding Canadian performance. And you guys know me, I've been critical of Canada's performances in recent windows. I think they've been inconsistent. I think they've been erratic at times. But today, for 90 plus minutes, a professional performance. Simply put, Romania couldn't hang with Canada's athleticism, their physicality, their speed, their level of engagement. Canada was first in all of those categories. They set the tone early, scored the first goal, and really cruised from there. I thought that there was really solid performances across the board, even from the substitutes coming on. They played within themselves. It wasn't just rock and roll, play manic, just run around like crazy for 90 minutes and hope for the best. I just thought that there was superior organization, good team selection. Just overall, Andy, that's the best performance on record in quite some time for this country, and gave reason to believe that these high aspirations that they hold are achievable. Now, we understand the context. Romania, this was a friendly. Romania is an upcoming World Cup qualifier. It probably wasn't their strongest starting 11, but still going to Bucharest and playing that way, that catches the eye. And coming off the loss to Guatemala, the Gold Cup last time we saw them, I just think it was needed to create some positive momentum and really reestablish this group in terms of moving in the right direction. Honestly, Andy, I thought they were excellent today. 10 out of 10 performance for me. Honestly, it was that good.
They're excellent. They were up for it, and you could see that they're all on the same page, which is very important. And I think the biggest thing that sticks out to me, when you underperform, the last game that you played, you've underperformed, you go out and you have to have a response. And that was clear from the beginning, how they won fouls, how they executed on set plays. May I repeat, Canada executed on set plays. Beautiful delivery, beautiful runs, a goal out of it to get things kicked off. This is a great day. Wheels gives it 10. And Wheels is a hard judge. I expected a 9.7 from him. He gave a flat out 10. So you know that's off the charts. Great day for Canada.
Bit of a hot take here because, let's look at some of the performances. And Richie Larea looked great as left back. Ali Ahmed, when you talk about set pieces, obviously set up that first one, free kick, and Jonathan David getting the goal. No room for Alphonso Davies on the left-hand side in the starting 11 on this team. I say that a little tongue-in-cheek. But let's give, credit where credit's due. How great did that left side look for Canada, Wheels?
They were awesome. I think the way that Richie Larea continues to play for Canada and club as well, despite Toronto FC really struggling, when fit, when healthy, Larea has been absolutely dynamite. I don't know how you can keep him out of the team. There's going to be a call for a number of players that played today retaining their positions in the team or pushing the presumed starters. I don't know at this point, if you're Jesse Marsch, if you can keep Larea out of the team. He can play everywhere across the back four. He can push up into midfield. He was moving forward with regularity throughout this game, adding to the attack. He's fully committed in terms of his challenges. He reads the game so well, and he draws an incredible number of fouls as well. And he suits Jesse Marsch and his playing style to the ground with athleticism, with physicality, with smarts. I just thought that he was outstanding over the course of this one today, and it kind of helps back my argument that perhaps that's the way you want to go when Alphonso Davies is back in the team. Larea at left back, Davies in front of him. The two can flip-flop. They can interchange. They can move around one another. Then you have an extremely athletic, extremely talented left side of the field with a lot of composure as well. So I think that Richie Larea did no harm to his case being able to play that position. In fact, that would be my preferable setup as of right now.
I love when players support my case. A couple weeks ago, Christian, Jack, and we argued a little bit about pushing Alphonso Davies forward. And look, everyone's split. Says Alphonso Davies should play in his spot, which is left back, because of how he is one of the best left backs in the world. But I see a Richie that plays like that, popped into the midfield, as Wheels mentioned, but specifically comes inside to give the midfielders help. So now all of a sudden, you don't have to really play a 3 sometimes. Richie can fill in that role, get the ball forward to Jonathan David. There's things you can move because naturally him being a right-footed player on the left side, he goes into the middle to find a little joy and help out. And guess what? Anyone in a phone booth 1v1, Richie Larea is coming out of it with the ball or with the foul. He is just that guy. He knows how to position his body. He knows what to do to draw a foul. He knows how to get forward. And he just displayed that for the first 45 specifically against Romania. I love it. I love how he's getting the half spaces. I love that now we can say, oh, shoot, you're looking at the last match. Is Alphonso Davies, is he wasted playing left back? This is what I've been saying all along. A role like that, if Richie can play like that, play Alphonso higher. Now, the other question is Alphonso Davies going to be given the product that Ali Ahmed gave today? And this is lovely. You're saying what's going on, who's getting the starting 11, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Richie Larea, if he continues to play like that, June 12th, you start him there at left back.
And can we also mention the other fullback position in Nico Sigor? He gets a goal, and it was richly deserved. He's in a position right now where he simply hasn't put a foot in wrong for Canada, whether it be in midfield or at right back. And now there should be legitimate competition with Alistair Johnston at right back. I mean, Johnston's played a lot of football, looked a lot of leggy. Now he's out through injury. And Sigurd today, much like Larea, did no damage to his standing in the team. In fact, I think he's going to be in a position where if he continues to grow and develop, he can go on and push Alistair Johnston for a starting spot. I know that might sound crazy because Johnston's been so good and he's done nothing wrong either, but the way that Sigur's playing and developing for our eyes, just the composure on the goal. The entire third goal for Canada was spectacularly executed. Sigurd winning the ball on their own 18, then pushing forward, continuing his run as the team maintained control. It was incredible. Across the front line, there were 4 players high and great spacing. The wide players went wide. The strikers, Jonathan David, came inside, played narrow, managed to keep the ball. Nelson played inside to Sigurd, who completed his run. Little bit of a fortunate touchback, but a great finish by Sigurd, and he scores again. Scored at the Gold Cup against Honduras as well. So there you go, right and left back, 2 positions of absolute strength for Canada, and you like that competition. And I think that's a good thing for Jesse Marsch to be able to, hold the standards high. If anyone's form dips, you're comfortable in terms of what you have in reserve. So great performances by the fullbacks. Outstanding.
Outstanding for sure. Quickly, I'll just say you want a right back, left back to make a play and win you a game or score your goal. The fact that Sigurd's doing that, you mentioned against Honduras as well, that wasn't easy. Again, a 1-2 going forward, underlap, and he scores. Then today, it looks easy, but to open up his hips, play Oluwaseyi, to get the 1-2 back, most players would hit that and skyrocket it. I'm hitting someone in row Z. He places that in the corner as well. His composure for just a 21-year-old, I think he's 22 this week, you have to consider starting that guy if he continues to play that way, because you need game winners, game changers, and he produces that week in and week out every time he plays for Canada.
And I love when my case is supported, that the depth obviously is what is needed. And I do love, and yes, it's this one game here of 5, and we'll see how the other 4 go. But with a backline so decimated for Canada, it was an opportunity for other players to shine. I like having these conversations and not already writing down with permanent marker who's going to be starting, especially in those fullback roles. I like that Jesse Marsch doesn't have the ability to put it already down in permanent marker, that these other players are pushing, and it gives you those options, and it just means the play itself naturally elevates. Before we get to the front line, I do want to go in the middle of the park as we make our way from the back to the middle. And Ishmael Kone, because as we heard before the game started, Jesse Marsch came out and did admit that, maybe he wished he had played Kone more at the Gold Cup, kind of put that on himself, saying maybe he should have given him more minutes. That's fine. He gets the start here. Looked great. Comes off in the second half, guys. And there's an exchange. Jesse Marsch speaking to the media right now as we're doing this, and he's saying that Kone just wanted to stay on. He simply wanted to stay on. And that's why there was a little bit of a verbal exchange between him and the coach. So 2-part question here. How did Kone look to you? And what do you make of just a public display of displeasure by the player with his coach? Jordo?
He looked great. I loved his attitude. I loved how motivated he was. It was clear to see that he had something to prove. And I've always said that Kone is best playing with that chip on his shoulder. Now, everyone talks about, I've heard Wildcard watching the game, or how he's a maverick and all these things, and you got to hone in his skills. These are all true. But a part of that is he just needs to embody what Jesse Marsch is trying to implement and show with this team. And he did that with high pressure, with being patient, with tracking back, with the work rate. And the reason why he's probably upset is because he wants to continue to show. But obviously he'll have more of a time to do it. But I like that because there's a response from him. This past summer, everyone talked about Kone and his potential, but no one was talking about how his play on the field was exceptional or up to par. I think, Wheels, you said that he had a decent summer break, but I personally expected more from him. Today's the type of game where I'm like, okay, this is Kone's quality. Like winning the ball, driving forward, creating plays, but then also just not making two mistakes back to back. Just making sure you keep the game simple. Sometimes as a midfielder, that's what it is. It's like they notice your mistakes more than they notice your productivity. So sometimes it's just keep the ball ticking, keep it moving. And I like how he found that pocket today. And obviously for Kone to come off in the 60th minute, he wanted to show more as well. So that's a great sign for a central midfielder.
Yeah, I don't wholly agree with the term wild card. I'm going to use two other words. Best option. He's the best central midfield partner for Stefan Eustachio. He's got the physical traits. He's got the attacking ability. He's got the legs. He is everything that you need to thrive in that position. And I think come the World Cup, he will be the answer at that position. Now, all the talk coming out of the game amongst Canadian supporters are going to be the sign of frustration, the sign of dissent on the touchline. It made it look even worse, the fact that he had to be restrained by Dane Sinclair to sit down and relax. It's a little bit confusing watching at home. I was wondering if there was something perhaps on the field that he didn't do. Seemed like in the Romanian chants and the build-up to that he maybe didn't work his hardest to get back, but he certainly wasn't at fault for the play. And I, like Jordan, thought he played really well today. I'll take an alternative approach to Kone. We all know what the argument or what the complaints against Kone have been. Marsh has voiced them before. Roberto De Zerbi, although we got ripped by Canadians for his treatment of Kone, oftentimes where there's smoke, where there's fire. I don't mind it if it's coming from a place of heart, passion, and desire, because it's a young player who's still learning a whole lot. He hasn't been in a stable professional setup for more than a year and a half over the course of his career. And clearly he's a player that needs to mature, but get it out of your system now. And make sure it's, this is used as a teachable moment. So 6-8 months from now, when really everything gets ramped up, that the same thing isn't happening. So I'm not going to make a mountain out of this molehill here. I think it's absolutely notable. It's something that you take stock of, and now you see what the reaction is going forward. I hope that Marsh understood how good his player was on the field, and that moments like this happened, and that he still is used in a real progressive way in the second game upcoming against Wales. So I'm going to show him a little bit of understanding right now, because honestly, that's what the player needs, an arm around him more than anything, rather than a verbal lashing or being torn down by individuals right now. It's just not what the player needs right now.
And he's clearly feeling pressure, right? I think in these type of situations, as a teammate or whatever, just a fan of the game, I'd much rather a situation him coming off the way he did today and being upset, wanting to show more, than being apathetic or being like, oh, I thought this is a great sign. It just needs to be controlled. And I don't even mind. I prefer players going up to a coach. It's just time and place. It's just not when the camera's on you as soon as you get substituted. It's totally fine talking to Marsh, being like, homie, you should have played me another 10 minutes because I was killing it today and I was in my bag. That's totally fine. I don't mind that. But again, when the cameras are on you, to Wheels' point with De Zerbi and all that just came out a few weeks ago, that's what makes it look bad. But man, I'm there for Kone. This guy is a top baller.
Yeah, I prefer things to be a little bit more behind closed doors. Just have your say there.
You give the elbows in your house, Chills. You don't come out with the elbows.
Listen, right? The second the door shuts, then we, but in public, it's hi, yes, right? Everything's nice. How about we move up front? We know Kyle Larin had to pull out of camp. His wife expecting a baby shortly, and with the move and everything, Jesse Marsh just said, Kyle, you got to focus on life right now. So we were going to wonder who was going to get that start next to Jonathan David. It ends up being Tani Oluwaseyi. What did you make of him getting that start? Like, does that maybe give you an indication of what Jesse Marsh is thinking? And how do you think he did, Jordo?
I think it's very telling. I know people are like, oh, there's still a lot of time between now and the World Cup. And those people are right. The 8-9 months, cool. But there's something about, for me, when you look at the attacking options that you could use for Canada, and Jesse Marsh just seems to gravitate towards Oluwaseyi, and it seems to work out, whether it's him creating those runs or just the way that he's positioning himself. You're starting to see, in my eyes, winning over Marsh and being the number one guy in that spot. I liked his performance today. I thought that one shot when he had on the left side, it was a bit wild, but it happens from time to time. I just like his how aggressive he is. I like that his work rate. I like that he's locked in. And again, he's doing all the things right to say, Jesse Marsh, keep playing me. But it's up to David or Kyle Larin or Jebo and all these players to knock him out of that spot. That's what it is. But right now, I don't know how you feel, Wheels, but Oluwaseyi looks like the front runner to be the guy to start for Marsh.
I think he's Jesse Marsh's favorite. I don't think that there's any questioning that. And he did a lot right in this game. Yeah, the finish might have not been there, but he set up Seager's goal. And beyond that, on the mistake by the goalkeeper Moldovan, it was Ali Ahmed with the pressure, but the goalkeeper first looked to his left. Tani was pressed. He was basically put the goalkeeper in a position that he couldn't pass it to his left. Then he looked forward to pass straight, and Ismail Kone was blocking that channel. So although those players don't get credit for the goal, I mean, it was their positioning and being in the right place at the right time that led to that goal. So he does a lot of things right. It allows Jonathan David to drop. I still think Jonathan David can play that position in certain circumstances. You add a third player to the midfield. I would still like to see what that looks like, but that just allows Jonathan David to drop deeper and get on the ball. They're a good combination together. I think they work well together. I think that Tani's runs are really good. It's just all about what happens next. How much burn does he get playing Villarreal? If he gets a shot, if he's playing big games, if he builds some confidence playing for a big European club, then that means really good things for that Canada front line, especially playing alongside a player like Buchanan, who's dynamic today. Ahmed, you're going to have competition for those spots with Liam Miller coming back into camp. Problem is David maybe hit the hardest shot I've ever seen a Canadian player actually take from distance when he came on the field. So there's plenty of options in those areas right now. But, for that number 9, Andy, I would assume that for Jesse, Tani is the clubhouse leader at this time.
All right. Any final thoughts here, gentlemen, as we say goodbye to Romania? By the way, a win on European soil against European team. We know that was a big deal for Jesse Marsh here, as he likes to just continue checking off little historical marks. Yeah. But as they get set for Wales, any final thoughts on Romania and looking ahead here, Jordan?
Tejan, if you continue to play like that, again, the last World Cup, he was the best player for Canada. And if he continues to do that, he'll be on par just right under Jay David as the best player. Ali Ahmed as well. I love when we have conversations about who's going to play the left side and it's wide open. And someone says, no, guys, listen, media, this could also be my role. I just love that the left side and the right side worked today. I thought they were exceptional in all areas of the game. Of course, people are going to focus on the attack, but the way that they press, the way that they repress, which is a huge point in Jesse Marsh's system, I just thought everyone was exceptional today. So it was a feel-good day for Canada all around.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. Some quick thoughts just looking at my notes. Jonathan David in the world of football is underappreciated. Like, he is an underrated star. That finish, was outstanding. That header from a difficult angle. You know how difficult it is to just glance it onto the far post, but he hit it with power and precision as well. Jonathan David is something special, and he's getting better and better. And oftentimes, if you have a star player, a match winner like that in your team come World Cup, that can mean really, really good things. I'm kind of surprised style of play that Romania, much like Ukraine, struggled to deal with Canada's physical elements, and they played rather naive, in my opinion. It won't be like that at the World Cup, as teams will scout better and prepare better. So I think a game like this suited Canada more. But if teams are going to show up and allow Canada to play wide open and use their strength and speed, then they're going to be punished. Teams are going to have a really difficult time hanging with Canada. And finally, you guys might be surprised by this, Max Crepeau.
We didn't even get to talk about it.
I think that Dane Sinclair might be a better goalkeeper, but I think that Max Crepeau is a better goalkeeper for this team. For Canada, Max Crepeau just looks right. He's comfortable. He's in position. I think he does the little things right that this team requires. We've watched enough football together, just certain situations. You're like, there's just a comfort level there. That's kind of how I felt about Crepeau today. He saved the one off his face. In your face! Boom! Right in the face. But I thought like overall, like he was measured, he was balanced. And sometimes when Sinclair's in, you're just left questioning a little bit, just the positioning or the decision-making. I just had none of that today. I know he wasn't the busiest goalkeeper, but yeah, that stood out to me. And perhaps in my mind, Crépeau edging him out, Sinclair out right now as being the better option.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we've been talking about this forever. And I just, to me, we have to see how Sinclair looks in the next game, because if we still feel Crépeau looked more comfortable and looked better, then it needs to stop, right? Like Jesse Marsh has got to pick his guy and he's got to give him a run. I know you say no, but then this is the frustrating part. You've got to give a guy consistent play. Jesse Marsh admitted that though.
I'm with you.
He
Andy.
admitted he needed to do that too. So it's like, Sprigidi, we got to make that decision.
I'm only laughing. I'm only laughing because I could see you with your 5'4" frame going up to Mark saying, play him, play one keeper, only one keeper, play. But like,
play. Let's go. Basta with the yo-yo. Sprigidi, hurry up.
How did Italy do today, Andy?
Let's not do it.
I believe it's going to end 3-0 as I currently
Is it 3-0?
Oh, yes.
Wow. Came on air. It was 0-0.
Canada getting the win. Italy on their way to a win. Look at that.
That's a
great day.
That says Canada. That says Canada. And wait, I'm not going to grab my Italian stuffy.
Leave.
You know what happened last time?
York region?
It is. Leave it where it is.
All we know is last time I tried to pull my little Italian bear, the entire shelf came down. So he's going to stay. He's going to stay exactly where he is.
Leave him there, please.
That's Wales. That's Jordan. I'm Andy. We'll see you next time.